This is Cohen for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're in Dubai for this Saturday night show, Fight Night 3 from Core Sports. I'm joined by one of the most positive people I know in boxing, even though I've only known you a couple of months. Stefi Cohen, how are you?
Good, how are you? You just pop up everywhere. You're here, you're there, Dubai, UK, everywhere. How do you do it? Teleportation?
Just do the same thing you do, just hop on a plane, here we are. How are you, first of all?
Really good, thank you.
You actually told me about you were fighting, but it was Florida back then, and obviously that changed and moved to Dubai. This is when we were talking in Essex.
Yeah, actually the fight was initially scheduled to be here, then they moved it to Vegas, and then moved it to Jacksonville, and then back to Dubai. I don't really care where it is, I just want to fight.
2 days away, obviously your opponent, which was great today because you were actually talking Spanish and then you were translating your own Spanish for the public today, which was great.
Yeah, that's skills right there. Bilingual, fluid.
What can you tell us about Marcela Nieto?
Marcela Nieto is a Colombian fighter. She has a lot of experience in MMA, combat sports. She said she's been fighting since she was 18. She's 28 years old. She has 2 professional boxing fights. I definitely don't underestimate her as a fighter at all. You know, she has a lot of experience in the ring or in the cage. In her case, she'd probably be, out of my 2 fights that I've done, the toughest opponent that I've faced. But that doesn't bother me at all. I'm confident in my preparation. I'm confident in my camp. I'm confident in my team. And I'm ready to take on whatever she throws at me.
Obviously, it would be interesting to see kind of the transition from the first fight to the fight you're having on Saturday, kind of to see where you are in your career as early as it is in boxing.
Yeah, dude, I'm stoked. I'm really excited to showcase just everything that I've been working on. I'm really, every sparring session that I've done this camp, I elevate as a fighter just from sparring session to sparring session. Compared to my first camp, I sparred twice the amount. I flew people in from South America. I flew people in from northern parts of Florida to come spar me. World champions, ex-world champions, people with with more experience, less experience, sloppy fighters, non-sloppy fighters. I got a lot of experience in the ring, just via sparring and via Cuban Combat School, which is kind of known as like technical sparring, if you may. So I've worked exhaustively on improving my footwork, my head movement, my striking, things that I just didn't have for my first pro boxing fight.
I think we spoke about this back in Essex when we did that first interview, and I asked you about how far can you kind of go in the sport, and it is a case for you, I suppose, of kind of taking it fight by fight and kind of seeing, because obviously boxing isn't your predominant background. We know your predominant background comes from powerlifting. So is it a fight by fight scenario for you to see exactly how far you can go and how good you are at boxing?
No, not at all. Pedro, my coach, and I have a very precise plan of what kind of steps we want to take and where we want to take this. I already have my next 3 fights planned out. This is not a hobby for me. This has become my entire life, my profession. I've literally changed everything in my life to mold myself into a professional boxer. And it's 100% my intention to take it to the absolute highest level that I can.
That's as direct as answer as you can give. There is a plan, but I know there's a plan. I'm just talking about kind of, it's difficult, I suppose, for you after one fight to kind of propel yourself past 3 fights and 10, 12 fights in. We don't know where you'll be then.
I mean, we're already having discussions and conversations about probably halfway through next year fighting for a world title. I have my eyes set really high, and I'm really confident in where I can take in my abilities and my skills as an athlete in general. I might not be the best boxer now. I might not have as much experience as the other girls, but I'm a hell of an athlete, and I pick up on things really, really faster, arguably faster than anyone else that I know. So.
Okay, I love this directness, Stefi. A lot of questions in the press conference today about obviously the background of Thor and Devon from that kind of strongman and arm wrestling background, you come from a powerlifting background, a lot of questions then kind of relate from that to the people kind of the YouTube guys and the people that are not predominantly boxers. Now, where do you put yourself in this kind of bracket? Because I suppose Devon and Thor fighting, everyone's kind of looking at that fight as a possible novelty act. Listening to you talk, I know this is not the case for yourself because you're in it because this is what you want to do now and this is what you're going to do now. But how do you kind of see that whole scene? Because it does seem to get grouped, like it's boxing and then there's everything else.
Yeah. I think from the beginning I made it very clear that I didn't want to be grouped into like the influencer boxing scene. I am an influencer who also boxes, but I've always been an athlete first. You know, I've been an influencer just for the very sake of, getting my own business up and running, which I've done successfully for the past 6 years. But that's what social media is to me. It's just a marketing tool and it's a business medium so that I can do the things that I love, like be able to train boxing full time. So I don't want to be, definitely don't want to, not that I have anything against that, but I don't want to be grouped into that category. I'm 100% a boxer, I'm 100% an athlete, and I'm here to climb my way up to the top in the sport.
What is your thoughts about kind of, if you move yourself out of this question, and when you kind of look at that scene that people do separate away from boxing, what do you think of that scene? Is it a case of what Avril was saying in the press conference, that good luck to them and more eyes on the sport, etc.? Is that your attitude to it as well?
Yeah, 100%. You know, I think that I've never been one to have a scarcity mindset. You know, the complete opposite. I think there's more than enough going around for everybody. I think the fact that there's people like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, putting up these fights, this multi-million-dollar fights, and bringing a ton of eyes into the sport of boxing can only be positive for everybody. So yeah, I'm stoked. Hopefully I'll be able to fight in one of Jake Paul's cards at some point in the future.
Stoked, does that mean like excited?
Yeah. You're so foreign sometimes. So am I.
Well, I am foreign and here in this country, so are you. So
I guess.
I might start using that word, stoked.
You like it? Good.
So you have a new boxing name. Do you want to let people reveal your name to the...
That's so much pressure, dude, and you know it. That's so much pressure.
You don't have to do it, but...
Okay, well, I actually would like to know what people's opinions on this name is. So if this goes on to YouTube, I'd love to know what you think of this name. So Stefi Dynamite Cohen. Thoughts? Jordan, stop looking at me like that. My friends are looking at me funny. Stefi Dynamite Cohen. Thoughts? Yes, no, maybe? No, not TNT.
And if you don't like it, then maybe give a better suggestion.
Exactly. Yeah, please, I'm all ears.
We came up with a few yesterday. You didn't really like them, did you?
No, what did you say? Steffi? Yeah,
No, let's not get into that.
Go there.
Steffi, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. We'll grab a word with you after your fight, live on Core Sports this Saturday here in Dubai. Anything else you'd like to add before we finish?
No, thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you guys for tuning in, and to the entire boxing community. Thank you for opening your arms to somebody that's crossing over from a different sport with welcoming arms. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll be sure not to disappoint.
Thank you very much.